Rejection. All right, let's talk about it. So, any any industry you're in, if you're going to be successful, you're going to be facing a lot of rejection. You're going to face way more rejection than success. Um, and I mean that's kind of what sets successful people apart. It's how not how good you are. It's not how many times you succeed. It's really, we've talked about this on the podcast a lot. It's how many times you fail, because failure is an opportunity to learn, and then picking yourself back up, learning from that experience and doing it again. So rejection, that's what we're going to talk about today. And this was kind of inspired by a post I saw. Somebody he's a friend of mine on Facebook, but I don't even know if I've ever actually had a conversation with him in person. Not going to mention his name, don't want to call him out or anything, but I've seen multiple posts from the same person, and they all are essentially the same thing. So he applies for a job, he gets rejected, he shares the email, the rejection letter from the company, puts them on blasts, talks about how terrible they are, says that he got rejected because they're racist. Not a good look, not a good thing to do. And the most recent one was Sony. And he applied for a it's like, I didn't look too into it. I looked at the email and I kind of looked around his profile a little bit, but it was basically, from what I gather, he applied for a manager A&R role for a imprint label or one of Sony's subsidiaries. And Sony's one of the big three at this point. It changed a lot, but they're one of the major labels. They own a lot of companies. So here's a couple things to take away from this, right? And again, not trying to put this guy on blast. If he sees this, he's probably going to know I'm talking about him, and that's fine. Not really hating, but I think this is such a huge mistake that it's worth talking about as a learning opportunity for others. And if this guy sees it, then it's a learning opportunity for you too. Reason I'm not talking to you directly, one, I don't know you, but also I saw people in the comments, people I know, industry professionals, people that I respect, really good engineers, really good producers, people that really know what the fuck they're doing, giving him advice like, hey man, like somebody was talking about how like he just got out of Full Sail. A lot of people knock Full Sail. I went to Full Sail. It's one of those, that's a whole nother rant on its own, but I think Full Sail, you get out of it what you put into it. And I know people that went there that are really, really good and really successful. And I know people that went there that maybe aren't, so, but he went to Full Sail, same place I went. From what I gathered, did an internship, and you look at his LinkedIn, and some people kind of put more into it than I did, and they're looking at his LinkedIn profile and they're looking at his resume, and across the board, everybody's like, hey man, like you're not qualified, fresh out of school for music business, you've done one internship, and you want to be the manager of the A&R department at Sony. Like, you're not qualified for that, first of all. But second of all, even if you are qualified, there are so many moving parts when it comes to corporate roles in general. Anybody that's worked in corporate knows that. But especially in the music industry, there are so many things happening that are out of your control and that you're not even aware of, right? The process in which people pick their candidates, like this guy could have been more than qualified. I personally don't think he was, but let's say he was, but there could also be guys that have been working at Sony as A&R. Maybe they're right under whoever the current manager was, and they've been there 5 years, and they have relationships with the artists already. They have relationships with vendors, or who knows. I don't know the specifics of this, but this could be applied generally to a lot of different things, where it could be that somebody's already has relationships and is already in that company. It could be the rec was only open for a short amount of time, or maybe they need a certain level of Like, I could go on and on with examples. The point is, you don't know why you were turned down. The fact that you get a rejection email, that alone is huge. Do you know how many companies that you apply for, especially in the entertainment industry, that they don't bother sending you a letter letting you know why? If you don't hear anything, that's your answer, you know? So this guy goes on social media and he's just blasting them and just what pieces of shit they are, and they're racist and fuck them and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Here's the lesson. The music industry is very small, right? Any industry you do this in, you don't do that. Every industry is fairly small once you get into that, whether it's, if you're in tech, everybody in tech, it's a small field, even though there's hundreds of thousands of people, you wind up in the same circles. You go to the same places. Music industry is the same way. We're all at NAMM in Anaheim talking to each other in January. We're all looking at a lot of the same industry trends. We're all, you know, like, it's a small fucking industry, right? People look at me and they, you know, I get comments like, I have a lot of famous friends, or I know so-and-so, or I worked with so-and-so. Not necessarily because there's anything special about me. It's because I've consistently worked in this industry for 20 years. And when you do that and you treat people good, you build relationships, because you never know. There's that old saying, like, whoever you meet on the way up, you're going to meet them on the way down, right? Be good to everybody. Treat everybody good. And if things don't go your way, or you know, even if somebody's just a total dick to you and totally disrespects you, don't put your energy into that. Put your energy into what fuels you, and what's positive. And this is a really good example. Like, it's a small fucking industry, and you put somebody on blast like that. Like, I'm not the head of Sony. I'm not the head of any record label. I'm a music producer, right? I'm an engineer. I'm an artist. But if I had a position and I was considering this guy, I wouldn't hire him based off of that email, or based off of that not even an email, a public post blasting the fact that he didn't get a job. Like, first of all, these companies keep resumes. That rec closed, it went to somebody else. Maybe another one opens in 6 months. The industry changes fast, and it's changing even faster right now with AI and everything else that's going on. So, there's a weird noise behind me. So, maybe 6 months from now, another rec opens up and they go, hey, let's look through those resumes. You know, so-and-so was a close second. Maybe you were the second candidate and you don't even know it, right? So-and-so was a close second. Let's put him through the process. You think they don't check your socials? You think that companies that are looking to hire you aren't doing the most basic level of research of, like, oh, I wonder what he's tweeting about. I wonder what's on his Facebook page. Oh, wow, like, when we rejected him, he went off on a rant. Here's 10 other rants about 10 other companies that he blasted, right? You are painting yourself out of an industry you're not even in yet. Excuse me, I've still got a chest cold. You're fresh out of school. You have no experience. I don't care what you learned in business school. You have no experience. You did an internship. You have no experience. You need to work in the industry and live this industry to learn the nuances and the intangible things that happen, and to build relationships. And I can't emphasize that part enough. It's building relationships. This kind of stuff destroys relationships. It closes doors before they're ever opened. So this seems real obvious. I think it seems real obvious to a lot of people, but just kind of anybody who's fresh out of school, they did a couple internships, maybe they're just really wanting to get into the business side of the music industry, and you're facing a lot of rejection, it sucks, and it's going to happen. It's part of the process. You will get 100 rejections before an opportunity. You'll get 1,000 rejections before a single opportunity. And every time you get one, go, okay, that didn't work. And it sucks and it's hard, but you have to keep that attitude that I'm going to find my right place where I'm the right fit. The stars align, it's the right time. Whatever is happening, you can't throw a temper tantrum on social media because you got a fucking rejection letter. Like, you were considered. Sony looked at your shit. That's more than most. And you blew it by throwing a temper tantrum. And when a dozen people that work in the industry came onto that comment thread and gave you advice and said, hey, you don't really have the experience. Try doing this. This isn't a good look. This can backfire on you. All the things I'm saying were said in that thread and more. And to every single person that gave him legitimate advice, that was good advice, just wasn't what he wanted to hear, he said, well, you know, find that unfollow button. You don't have to follow me if you don't like it. It's my page and I'll rant. Yeah, it is. You're fucking yourself, dude. So anyways, speaking of rants, that's my rant. Yeah, man, rejection. This industry, the entertainment industry in general, music, acting, anything where you're putting yourself out there, it's filled with rejection, and it's part of the game. So with that, Moxie, come here. Come up. Here's Moxie hanging out with us, staring at me instead of everyone else. Moxie. Moxie, Moxie, Moxie. You want to see the camera? You don't care about the camera, do you? All right. Well, that's my rant for today. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. I want to hear your experiences. I want to hear if you've dealt with rejection, if you've had these kind of things, and how did you handle it? Did you, when you were fresh out of school, you got your first major rejection, did you blast that company on social media? Did you go, oh, that sucks, and go to the next one? What did you do? I want to hear about it. Anyways, this is Seven. I'll talk to you later.